Hey everyone, today we're going to talk about what we use to make our YouTube videos. Now, I'm not only going to go through the camera gear that we use, but we're also going to touch base on some of the editing software, where we get our music, and some of the other things. But the majority of this is going to be discussing what I carry in the bag, what kind of camera gear we use. Now, I'm not going to go into super technical detail, so don't worry about that. But if you do want more information, I'm going to link each of the items in the description below, so you can click on those links if you want to learn more about these items, or if you want to know where to purchase them. Now, if you do go through our Amazon store and buy a product, we do earn a small commission, and we thank you so much for that. It definitely helps put fuel in the tank and fund this channel. So we really appreciate all the contributions we get. But let's go ahead and go through this gear. Now, what I'm going to start with is the camera that we use the absolute most. I'm going to work through the cameras and finish with the one that you all ask about the most. And then we're going to finish the video with what kind of editing software we use, where we get our music, and a few other questions that you guys have about putting together our videos. So let's go. Now, the first camera I'm going to discuss, and the one that we use all the time, and you probably see us carrying these around, is the DJI Pocket 2. Now, they made an Osmo version, which is the newer version, but I recommend, and we currently use, the Pocket 2. Now, I love this little thing. It's small, compact, has a nice little carrying case, folds away, and you can just tuck it in your pocket, and that makes it ultra convenient. Now, if you notice on the top, it also has this little gimbal. And so this gimbal helps to stabilize the shots, makes really smooth video. It shoots in 4K. The battery life lasts, I don't know, 2, 3, 4 hours. We've never had a problem. I hiked all the way up to Akatanango filming one of these. It has 3 or 4 microphones on it, so the audio is pretty decent. It's compact, and one of the things we love about it is with 3 clicks of the button, the camera spins around and automatically puts it in selfie mode. So if you're shooting a landscape and all of a sudden you want to talk about that and put the camera on you, it's easy 3 clicks of the button. Now, there's also a zoom feature, there's also a tilt feature, all at the control of your thumb, and there's a lot of really cool things that make this our workhouse in the bag. I have one, Snow has one, and we use this thing pretty much every day. Now, the next thing I want to talk about is our drones. And who doesn't love to talk about or fly drones? Now, we use the DJI Mavic Air 2, and this is the newest one. And some of you who've been following along with our journey may remember that we had a DJI Mavic that we lost in the winds in the volcano area in El Salvador. We had some great contributors helped us replace the cost of replacing that. And I'll say we also have a DJI Mini that we use as a backup. So thank you for that. But I love this DJI Mavic Air 2. This thing, the video that we get from this is absolutely like butter. It sets up quick and easy. It has a nice little remote control. We can hook whatever your phone is, a Google or your Apple phone, and you hook right into there, which gives you your display for flying the drone. There's all sorts of pre-programmed controls like tracking a target and preset movements from the drone. You can zoom it from the touchscreen. There's really a lot of features that this drone has, but I love how stable this is. This thing flies high in the sky. You guys have seen the coverage, but we love this. And while I'm talking about this, we're also going to put in some footage from the Mavic Mini, which is a drone that we've used for a long time, and it works very well as well, and is really about half the price. Now, the DJI Pocket is what we use the absolute most. But if I were only to allow 2 cameras, the Sony 6400 would be the other camera that we use. Now, we've gone through times where we use this as our primary vlogging camera. We've set it on a gimbal to help stabilize it and used it to shoot a wedding and used it for other things. But now I primarily use it for bird photography. Now the 6400 is a mirrorless camera. It's got a myriad of settings. It really works well. It's probably a mid-range camera, so it's not super high end. I think it sells for around $800 or $900. But the key with this is it's an E-mount system, so you can interchange the lenses. So we use an 18 by 135 millimeter lens. That's what we would use for shooting like a vlog, maybe shooting a setting in a room, a restaurant, shooting a wedding, anything that doesn't require super zoom. Now, if we're hunting birds or wildlife or animals or something like that where we need to zoom and pull the subject in super close, then we'll use a Sony 70 by 135 millimeter lens. Now, I love this lens, but the one downside of it is it only has the 350 millimeter capacity. So if a bird is off in the distance or an animal's off in the distance, I can't quite zoom in as much as I would like, maybe not see all the detail. But what I do get is pretty clear, pretty sharp, and also the focus on this thing is really good as well. So I love this Sony camera. In fact, I have another one on my wish list, and I also have the Sony 200 by 600 millimeter lens, which is on my wish list. We're saving our pennies, but this will give us the range to really zoom in on those birds, to really get the detail on the wildlife and the animals. Oh, I'm so excited to get this lens. We had a little bit bigger lens before in our A65, and we had the Sony lens with that, the big lens. You guys have probably seen that. Unfortunately, we had to retire that. It got old and wasn't functioning too well anymore. So that's what we do for our secondary camera.
We cannot talk about the Sony camera without telling you guys about our awesome tripod. It was a bit scary to tell Curt the cost, but once he used it, he agreed that the quality was worth it. It's the Manfrotto Travel Tripod. It only weighs 5 pounds. It's small. It comes with its own carry case, but it also fits inside of our camera backpack. It folds up easy, and you can set it up easily on uneven ground, smooth or bumpy. It has 2 easy-to-use levels, so you always have a nice level shot. And it is so smooth when you're following a bird or panning a landscape. Yes, it's pricier than the basic tripod that you can pick up at a big box store, but man, is this thing a game changer.
Now, another thing that we use an awful lot, and you guys see a lot of footage from this, is our dash cam. And the dash cam is great. Now, we have gone through a couple of these, and we just, if one breaks or goes down, we feel an instant need to replace it. It's an important camera in our lineup. This is a 1080p high definition camera. We get pretty good shots out of it. It has good, it accepts low light pretty well for a camera like this. You just need to make sure you keep the windshield clean, but it gives pretty good footage out in front of the van. Now ours also has a second camera on it which points back towards the cab. Now we certainly don't use that as much as forward facing, but it is also a nice wide angle lens with a clear picture, and the camera works out great for us. It installs easily over the mirror of the existing rear view mirror in the van, so it's super easy to install. And like I said, this is what we use and we love it. Now, we also have GoPros, and I think we have some older versions. I'm going to tell you GoPro 4, something in our lineup. If we used more, we would probably update. Now the GoPro cameras we use in water situations. We have water cases on them, so anytime I'm doing or we're doing a water scene where we're going to be playing in the water, we're going to be filming in and underwater, we're always going to pull out the GoPros and use those. We probably could use them in other applications, We don't because of the bounce and the shake on that, but they work really good for water situations and hikes where we might get wet. Now, the last camera that I'm going to talk to you guys about is the one that is most asked about. Now, this camera is only used in unique and special circumstances because it's an action camera. Now, we've tried to be creative with it, but this is the Insta360. So if you'll notice, it's got a camera on both sides, and so it uses a wide angle lens, and then it uses some really super smart technology to stitch those pictures together to give you a full 360 video now, or picture. And so that's really cool because if you're riding on a bike or hiking a trail and there's stuff all around, you really don't have a chance to get the camera there. The camera captures everything, and then you can pick the angles that you want in the edit. So it also has a long selfie stick on it that sticks up. Now the software erases that selfie stick. So many of you said, what are you using? Or is a drone flying behind you or whatever? But actually it's the camera on the selfie stick, and the technology erases the selfie stick. It's a really versatile, cool, unique camera that gives us some unique shots. And what I will say is this is also waterproof. So in a lot of water scenes, we will use this. It's not a perfect camera because there is some distortion. There is sort of a little bit of fisheye to it. So in terms of picture quality, it's definitely not the best camera that we have. But in terms of getting some real cool action shots, and really in some settings where another camera wouldn't work as well, I love this camera. It's been a cool toy for us. And from the feedback we've got, you enjoy as well. So thank you for that.
With all of this gear that we are traveling around the world with, being able to comfortably and safely carry it with us is important. We've learned the benefits of a great camera backpack. Our mind-shaped Trailscape backpack is perfect for city hikes, nature hikes, and for storing our gear in the van. There's no need to pack or unpack this bag at the end of a fun day of videoing for you guys. It has room for 2 1-liter water bottles on each side, the tripod, the Sony with the big lens, the drone, and more. It can be organized to specifically fit your gear with all the different Velcro inserts. And it's easy to wrap it up with the cute little backpack raincoat that comes with it if you happen to get caught in some rain. It is not a basic backpack, but if we're carrying around great gear, we need to carry it safely. And this backpack has all of the bases covered. Well, except for one. They do not know how ambitious Curt can be on some of his hikes. Back in Costa Rica, he literally swam across a river with our gear on his back. And I don't care how waterproof or water resistant a pack says it is, sometimes you just need more. This waterproof pack is not designed for camera gear. It's a universal waterproof bag, so it has many uses. But for us, it's perfect for whitewater rafting, crazy waterfall hikes, and yes, for swimming across a river with all of your camera gear with you. It's an iDry bag. They're available in many sizes and colors. We have 2 of them, and they have both held up to the Curt test. So we have covered all of our gear and lots of accessories, but one of the questions we get asked the most is, where do you get your music for your videos? Well, we use Epidemic Sound, an online music database designed for creators like us. But even if you're not a full-time creator that needs to license their music, there is some epic songs on this site for all to enjoy. You can search the database to find unique music to fit any scene, a hangout with friends, a party, or just listening around the house. You will not find mainstream music on this site. It's all independent artists sharing their music, and it is great. Of course, there's a link with all the info in the description and on our website. Last, but certainly not least, we also get asked about how we edit our videos. We use Adobe Premiere Pro editing software. Now, there are a few different software companies you can choose from, and we are certainly not editing pros, but we have found Adobe to be perfect for us. You can buy the software outright, or you can pay by the month or annually for a plan that keeps you current with all of the latest versions. Links for this are also available below and on our website. If you like this video, be sure to subscribe to our channel and hit that notification bell so you guys know when we put out new videos. And don't forget, you can always follow us over on Instagram to see what's going on in between videos. Cheers, guys!